Chapter 23, Part 2. Min Qingshi's recent period of time seems to be plagued by bad luck, and it is very unlucky. A month ago, he had lost 5 million star coins in a bet with a lowly slum in the Goose Woolen area, and he had also ruined his reputation, which made him very embarrassed. Thinking of this, Min Qing gritted his teeth with hatred. He still remembered that after the incident that day, he somehow explained to his father that he stayed out late until he had to bite the bullet and go home. Unexpectedly, as soon as he entered the door, he was greeted by a heavy slap. Min Qingshi was beaten until the corners of his mouth were bleeding, and he was beaten directly. In my impression, my father had never touched a single finger of his, and I didn't expect such a big fire this time. Min Shang changed his tolerant expression before and scolded him for being stupid, and he insisted on lowering his worth and fighting against a commoner. The most stupid thing is that he didn't tell him in time after he got into trouble, so that the rumors spread, and many aristocratic families were waiting to see the jokes between Min Qingshi and the Min family. Since Min Qingshi became a third-level stone gambler, Min Shang has been proud of this, and has been promoting his son's status as a genius stone gambler, hoping that everyone will know it. However, the third-level stone gambler, who is only 22 years old, is indeed extremely talented. Many aristocratic families envy Min Shang for having a good son. But after this incident, Min Qingshi's reputation as a genius stone gambler turned into a huge irony and almost became the laughing stock of the upper-class circles. Fortunately, Min Shang responded quickly and used a lot of funds and contacts to remove all the news on Xinguang. At the same time, he used other more exciting news to suppress the matter. After Min Qingshi found out, he exhaled heavily. He is not afraid of his father, Min Shang, because his father only has one son, and he dotes on him very much at ordinary times. Min Qingshi was very quiet for a while. Seeing that the matter is about to pass, I don't know who was stabbed by Mr. Min. When he heard the news, Min Qingshi's heart was squeaky, and he secretly said that it was bad. What he is most afraid of on weekdays is his grandfather, Mr. Min. When Mr. Min was young, he was an officer of the empire. He is still the behind-the-scenes man in charge of the Min family, and he is the well-deserved core of the entire family. When Min Qingshi saw the old man, his legs went weak, and he didn't dare to squeak in front of him. Mr. Min is not only his grandson, but the one who loves the most is Min Qinghe, who is only 17 years old, and he doesn't look down on him at all. Sure enough, the other party was furious after learning about this. He was sent to the mine to work as a coolie for more than a week. When he came back, he was so tired that he couldn't even lift his arms. He can only be forced to stay at home to recover from his injuries, and he can continue to gamble on stones until the wind has passed. All of this is thanks to that slum bastard. Thinking of this, Min Qingshi's eyes turned red with hatred. He would never spare that slum bastard. He secretly hired a few people to squat in Goosewell Yard, intending to teach him a lesson. But the people he sent couldn't find the figure of that for several days, and the location couldn't be checked, so they could only secretly annoy the other party's luck. Damn it. I thought this was the worst outcome, but I didn't expect it to be worse. Min Qingshi lost his bet one after another during this period, and the betting rate dropped directly below 15%, and he did not increase the rate of betting within a month, so he was downgraded from the third-level stone gambler to the second-level stone gambler. Fuck Nima. Min Qingshi couldn't help but let out a foul language, frantically smashing all the items in the room. He couldn't imagine the ridicule of others when he participated in the stone gambling battle again. Blame that bitch. He must kill him. At this time, it has been more than a month since the last incident, and he can finally lift the ban. However, before he could leave the housekeeper beside the old man came at the first moment and invited him to the main hall. Min Qingshi came to the retro-style hall with trepidation and was greeted by a teacup. Bang! Min Qingshi was startled by the sound of the teacup falling, and his legs were so weak that he almost didn't stand up. Mr. Min's face was ashen, and for the first time he looked at his grandson seriously. Before, he was worried that Min Shang was the current head of the family, so he didn't want to intervene too much, so he turned a blind eye. But now, old man Min couldn't help heartache when he thought of that young man named by Jing. In the first half of his life, he knew countless people, and relying on his intuition, He rescued the Min family from life and death several times, and developed the family to the point where it is today. That young man was neither arrogant nor impetuous, intelligent, and possessed a disposition and attitude that were unmatched by ordinary people. And he has found out through special means that the other party is the legendary young man who is tied for the first place with Du Xingyu in this stone gambling apprentice assessment. Although there is very little information about Bai Jing on Xingwang, Mr. Min can still find some things with his own network, of course, including the stupid things his grandson did. No wonder Bai Jing did not agree to his invitation. If he knew these stupid things his grandson did, how could he have the face to ask him? Your father didn't discipline you well before and made you a stupid and poisonous person. Old man Min looked cold and merciless. Since he can't even teach his son well, how can he manage the entire family? He looked at the housekeeper. Go, call everyone in the family to the hall. I want to reselect the head of the family. Mr. Min made this decision not just because of Bai Jing, but most importantly, this incident sounded the alarm for him. If we let the Min family go on like this, how many talents like Bai Jing will be missed? He had also heard rumors that the Min family was suppressing some civilian stone gamblers, but unfortunately, Min Shang stopped him, and no one dared to stab the matter in front of Mr. Min, and the latter didn't care. This time, he thoroughly investigated what Min Shang had done over the past 10 years, only to find that things were much more serious than he thought. If this is allowed to continue like this, the Min family will be caught sooner or later, and the glory of the past will not be restored. Hearing that the owner of the house was to be changed, Min Qingshi shuddered and fell heavily to the ground, looking terrified. It's over, it's over. He caused his father to lose his position as the head of the family, and this time his father is probably going to kill him. And he himself lost his qualifications as a family heir, and has since been reduced to a marginal figure. Min Qing couldn't accept this reality for a while. His eyes suddenly darkened, and he fainted and lost consciousness. Min family history records. In the year 835 of the ephemeris, the head of the Min family changed. The new head of the family, Min Qi, rectified the Min family with iron and blood, cleaned up the internal and external atmosphere, and saved the infamous Min family from danger at that time. Bai Jing didn't know that his unintentional actions, like the butterfly effect, changed the rise and fall of a family. Now, he and Ngu are returning from gambling Stone Street in Jean Mao's suspended car. Jean Mao adjusted the suspension car to automatic driving mode, and the fluent body galloped through the air along the set route without any reduction in speed. And Jean Mao sat in the back happily chatting with the two of them, full of laughter and laughter along the way. This trip to gambling Stone Street, the three of them gained a lot. Although Jean Mao only earned 20,000 star coins this time, the least among the three, his family was wealthy and he didn't care much about the number of star coins. On the contrary, he was fascinated by the thrill of gambling, and this was the first money he made by himself, not to mention earning a point for it. I used to think that 5 points would be difficult to reach the sky, but now I got 1 point on the first day. It seems that it is not as difficult as he imagined. In short, Jean Mao, who laughed so much that the corners of his mouth were grinning, had already started planning in his mind the next time he would come to gambling Stone Street. As for Ngu, ever since he sold the pink-purple jadeite, his expression has always been a trance mixed with excitement. He was usually inferior and restrained, and his eyes lit up after seeing a string of zeros on his account. This is the first time he has seen so many star coins. With this fund, he doesn't have to worry about the attitude of the Shin family all the time, and whether he has funds to gamble on stones. These stars brought him unlimited confidence, and becoming a stone gambler is no longer an unattainable dream. He looked at Bai Jing beside him. His eyes were full of longing, and soon he could become an official stone gambler like an idol. Among the three, the one who gained the most was Bai Jing. The hibiscus jadeite from the scrap was auctioned for a high price of 4 million, plus the 400,000 star coins that were later filled with green jadeite beans. A total of 4.4 million star coins were collected today. And the cost of his purchase of the original stone was only 34,000 star coins, which is not an exaggeration. Bai Jing opened the Guangnao account, and the balance displayed on it was 6,080,000. Almost without hesitation, the white fingertips quickly operated on the light screen, transferring 5 million star coins to Gu Yuanchao's Guangnao account, leaving 33 million in arrears for the treatment of gene decay. After doing this, there are 1.08 million star coins left in the account, which can be used as the next stage of gambling funds. There was a sound of D, and Gu Yuanchao, who was in a meeting with the leaders of various planets, quickly made a pause gesture and opened the brain at the fastest speed. He set a special tone for Bai Jing, so as not to miss the other party's news. At this moment, the corners of Gu Yuanchao's lips twitched slightly, and his sharp eyes towards his subordinates softened. I wonder what message Bai Jing sent him? Your account has received 5 million star coins from Bai Jing. Please check. Seeing this message, Gu Yuanchao was silent for a few seconds. He wanted to tell the boy that he didn't need to be so eager, but he was afraid of hurting the other party's self-esteem. How should he reply? The person in charge on the opposite side of the video communication saw Gu Shao frowning slightly, wiped the cold sweat from his forehead, and felt uneasy. Gu Shao has been staring at Guangnao with a solemn expression for a full minute. Could it be that what happened to Mr. Gu? No, it shouldn't. They haven't heard of anything major happening recently. The deep black eyes stared at the message on the light brain for a long time. Gu Yuanchao smiled helplessly and replied with a received message. After thinking about it, I added another sentence. Pay attention to your body. The moment the message was sent, he paused with his fingers and deleted the word, pay attention to your body. This sentence seems too blunt. There is no sincerity? 3 minutes later, the meeting resumed, and the other leaders had to cheer up and continue to report. After the meeting was over, they discussed together for a long time. What is the important thing that can make Gu Shao, who has always been calm, frown and suspend the video conference? It is a pity that they discussed, and they did not get an answer, and they could only list this incident as an unsolved mystery. 3 minutes later, when Bai Jing saw the message, received, popped up in Guangnao, he glanced at it and retracted his gaze. After Jean Mao finished expressing his experience of this trip to Gambling Stone Street, he looked at Ngu with a sad expression. Ngu, don't look at your brain anymore. Are you listening to me? Ngu smiled apologetically. His attention was indeed still on the 900,000 star coins he got, and that sense of unreality has not dissipated until now. Of course, Jean Mao was not really angry, but looked at Ngu teasingly. Okay, now it's your turn. Tell me how you feel. Ngu nodded and said with a smile, okay. Jean Mao keenly found that Ngu is much more cheerful now than before. Although he is still a little shy, he can clearly feel that the inferiority complex is gradually fading, and his original light is blooming. Ngu thought for a while before saying, this is my first time gambling stones. I think the experience of gambling stones is one aspect, but the more important thing is the mentality dash. After telling his own experience, he was a little embarrassed, but there was still a question in his heart. Actually, I'm choosing the last piece of wool. When the piece of wool was made of pink and purple jade, there seemed to be an intuition in my heart. I just felt that there must be jade in this piece of wool. Do you feel this way? Jean Mao scratched his head. No. Bai Jing pondered. I have. When he saw the piece of scrap, he also had something similar to intuition. There was no reason, but he felt that there should be jade in it.